Alright? I want to give our praises to Yahweh and Ba'asham Yahushai. Give double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone that rule well. Salutations to the men of the hopeful and sincere elect. It's Makazar from Trinidad camp. Just want to do a little edification, for the Archeum Seek out here. Alright? The scripture said, to exhort one another, even as we see the days coming. The name of this topic, I'll call it offenses. Right? Because the scripture said, warn to the world because of offenses, because it must needs come. And we'll try our best as brothers in the faith, in the truth, try our best not to offend each other. Because I think it's James 3 verse 1, it says, seek not to be many masters, because we offend all. Yahushua offended many, but not outside the word, not outside the laws. Alright, the word was their offense, and he was within his right. So you're gonna cause offenses, but make sure that you don't cause offenses outside of the necessary. Alright, just like Yahushua, when Yahushua went and picked corn on the Sabbath, Yahushua caused offenses. But guess what? He was within his right. Alright? You're hungry, go and eat. Alright? So I will go straight to the scriptures. This is Acts 24 verse 13. It says, neither can they prove the things whereof they do accuse me. But this I confess unto thee, that after the way which they call heresy, so worship I Yahweh of my fathers, believing all the things which are written in the law and in the prophets. So now, like IUIC, they accusing us of having sex with little girls, wherever the case is. Nobody do have sex with little girls. Alright? We don't do that. According to the scriptures, once a girl seen her periods, she's no longer a girl but a woman. Alright? But we don't rehearse that. Alright? So they say, GMS man, we rapists, all these kind of things. But the scripture say none of the things that they're accusing us of, they can't prove. But when we preach from the scriptures. Alright? We preach it out of the scriptures. Alright? Going on, it says, and have hope towards Yahweh, which they themselves also allow, that there shall be a resurrection of the dead, both of the just and unjust. And herein I do exercise myself, to have always a conscience void of offenses towards Yahweh and towards men. So that is where Paul goal was, to have a conscience void of offense towards the Most High and towards men. Alright? But guess what? They still were offended. But Paul tried his best to make sure that the offenses that he caused wasn't outside of the law. Wasn't like the scripture said in I believe it's Romans 14, that no man lay a stumbling block in his brother's way that he fall. If your brother be offended off of meat, don't eat that meat, that your brother will be offended. Alright? Now it's not unlawful to drink, but then if you're gonna drink to get drunk and then getting all righteous in the street, that could cause our brother to get weak. Alright, so control your drinking. That brother might think it's not okay to drink, and you might show him in the law that guess what, you could drink, and he might get offended, but that is his problem. Alright, but then you didn't go overboard with it. If you didn't go overboard with it, then the offense is just on him and not on you. Alright, it's on him and not on you. So if he followed the truth because of that, like in the scriptures it said that our forefathers dealt with prostitutes. So if a man feel to deal with a prostitute, hey, he could go ahead. Most of the women out there is prostitutes anyway. A brother might get offended off of that. If the brother get offended off of that, hey, just make sure if you're gonna do your business, just he don't have to know your business in the first place. Alright, and if you show him in the scriptures that hey, it not wrong, and he want to take it upon himself to get offended and fall out, well, hey, that is on him. It in the scriptures, you show him. but try your utmost best not to cause offenses. All right. Sometimes lack of communication could cause an offense. So there's another thing we have to work on: communication. All right, we have to work on that, because lack of communication could cause an offense. You might perceive that something going one way, but then it's totally the opposite, and that was an offense caused without cause. All right, we have to try best not to cause offenses. All right, because the scripture says offenses gonna come. All right, this is 2 Thessalonians chapter 3 verse 7. It says, for yourselves know how ye ought to follow us, for we have not behaved ourselves disorderly among you. So beginning with the apostles all the way down, they behaved themselves disorderly among other men. All right, they keep they keep the body under subjection. All right, so that with the actions they wouldn't cause no offense. Why this brother getting on like that? Why this brother getting on like that? But guess what? In do not wrong, just because the scripture said, do I be rude with speech, yet not according to knowledge? You might get offended off for that, but guess what? That is just that brother's spirit. All right. The things we had to do as men coming in this truth. Remember that most of us grew up with our mothers. We had to pour off that bitch ass spirit where we get offended off every little thing, unnecessary things, before you cause your own offense. But it's on every man's behalf that they try their best not to cause an offense. All right, so you look up this word disorderly. All right, all right, you know, see, it's another play a little bit. All right, so we'll try this again. All right, disorderly. All right, come from the Greek word atakteo. All right, to be disorderly, of soldiers marching out of order or quitting ranks, to be neglectful of duty, to be lawless, to lead a disorderly life. All right, let me go to the root. The root here, there is the point where I want. It says, and I'll go straight to the second definition. It says irregular, inordinate, immoderate pleasures. So it says immoderate. Moderate means something of a certain level, but immoderate means like Austin, it means like you're outside of normal bounds. All right, it not unlawful to go to the casino, but then when you want to go to the casino every day, spend all your living, and you know, every week you're always broke because you're going in the casino. Guess what? That could cause an offense, because our brother looking at you like, nah, you can't be a mighty Lord and living so worldly. All right, because then it wouldn't be just something you're doing to pass them. It can be like that is just your vice. And when you look up vice, it means an unlawful act. That is when it becomes sin, because you're overdoing it, and that overdoing of that liberty will actually be sin. All right, verse third definition. Deviating from the prescribed order or rule. So you're deviating from what the Lord said. You're going outside the natural bounds. All right. Whereas right now, hey, we could have many women according to the scriptures, but right now there's not any time for that, to multiply many wives. All right. There's not that time, so you can't go outside normal bounds. And sometimes going outside them normal bounds, or them bounds that, you know, you if you do it, you wouldn't sin. But guess what? Some brothers might tend to overdo it, and that is what would cause the offense, the overdoing of that liberty, the abuse of that liberty would cause an offense. All right, and that is what we had to try best not to cause offenses, because that will be bad on our behalf. All right, but just remember, people gonna get 2/3 gonna get offended off the word anyways. But just make sure that when we cause offense, it's because they get offended because of disbelief, and not because of our disorderly conduct. All right, It says 1 Peter chapter 2 verse 12. Having your conversation honest among the Gentiles, that whereas they speak against you as evildoers, because they're going to speak against us for the word, alright, that they may by your good works, which they shall behold, glorify Yahweh in the day of visitation. Because in that day they're going to realize that, guess what? We are the true men of the Lord once we hold fast to this word. Alright? Yahba Shem Yasharatazah. So they're going to speak evil of us no matter what, because of unbelief. Alright? You know, we might say the word fuck. Nothing wrong with that. Somebody might get offended or fight. So hey, if they're gonna get offended or fight, just cut it out. But then if you're using a sentence and every 3 words is fuck, guess what? It's you're song illiterate, and that is when you're actually abusing your liberty. And it could actually cause an offense by doing that. So that's something that could have been avoided. Alright? You gotta be spiritual in this thing. It says, submit yourselves to every ordinance of man for Yahweh's sake, whether it be to the king as supreme or unto governors. And that don't mean like with Esau. Esau says, you know, to go and have sex with a man. You're gonna do that shit. I ain't talking about that. Alright? I ain't talking about that. If Esau says you gotta drive with a driver's permit, hey, drive with a driver's license, drive with a driver's permit. If Esau said don't break the red light, don't break the red light. Alright? And by you doing that, guess what? You wouldn't be considered a rebel. Because that is our next thing. Like these other camps, like Nathan, these other camps, is like their perception of doing the work is sit down and look at a GMS under a magnifying glass, just waiting for us to slip. That is there doing the works. So don't give them no reason to talk shit, because that could cause offenses on its own. Alright? Verse 14, or unto governors as unto them that are sent by him for the punishment of evildoers and for the praise of them that do well. For so it is the will of Yahweh, that with well-doing ye may put to silence the ignorance of foolish men. Alright, so with well-doing you put to silence the foolishness of evil men. So that is foolishness with them, because they talk shit because they don't understand the things in the scriptures. They don't understand. Alright, so just continue with the good works, and guess what? Men gonna talk shit, so they let them talk this shit. They talk this shit. Once you ain't do nothing, where you'll be penalized mainly by the Most High because of it. Guess what? You in the right. You within your right. All right. Verse 16, as free and not using your liberty for a cloak of maliciousness, but as the servants of Yahweh. Yeah, not using your liberty, as I said, like abusing gambling, abusing drinking, abusing, dealing with prostitutes. Like every 4 times a day you're dealing with different prostitutes, like every day. Like everyday thing. The scriptures talk about chambering, Romans 10. Alright, you don't overdo it. Alright, you don't overdo these things. Alright, you stay within natural bounds. Because going outside these natural bounds, over abusing your liberty, that will cause offenses. Alright, as the last scripture here is Matthew chapter 18 verse 7. It says, warn to the world because of offenses, for it must needs be that offenses come, but warn to that man by whom the offense cometh. Yes, so you want to make sure that according to Paul in Acts 24:16, you want to have your conscience void of offenses, because really and truly you wouldn't want to be the reason a brother fall from this grace. When you know that that it could have been avoided, it was really bad on your behalf, it could have been avoided. So try your best not to do that. The scripture says to bear one another's burden and bear the infirmity of the weak. So sometimes you gotta bear with our brother, especially when our brother now coming in, because he didn't really understand the word per se. Alright? So with that, I want to give our praises to Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai. Give double honors to the apostles of great millstone that rule well. Salutations to the men of the hopeful and sincere elect. This is Makazah saying Shalom.